Bowling Green is unsurpassed for its spectacular fall foliage. At the first signs of fall, the landscape is speckled with an array of beautiful colors. Bowling Green residents have a few weeks between summer and winter to enjoy the spectacle. This area of south central Kentucky is second to none for Mother Nature's fall display. Unfortunately, leaves will slowly but surely come tumbling down, causing Bowling Green residents to face the problems of how to properly dispose of them. The City of Bowling Green has provided two ways for citizens to dispose of leaves before they clutter the gutters, yards, streets, and sidewalks. This Spotlight on Bowling Green program will inform citizens of two choices they have for leaf pickup and disposal.
Leaf season generally starts in the middle of October, depending on the leaf fall. During that time of startup in October, we test the equipment, and if citizens have leaves out there and already have them raked and would like to have them picked up, they can call us, and while we test the equipment, we'll go by the residence and pick them up. Generally, in normal times, leaf season will start the 1st of November. Then we'll go into full swing. We'll start going by zones.
The City of Bowling Green is divided into 10 work zones. Each work zone will receive service for 2 consecutive days. If a leaf crew is not able to pick up all the leaves in one zone, they will move into the other zones and backtrack into previous zones as time permits them. The city will not pick up leaves on private businesses, in private trailer parks, or anywhere outside of the city limits.
It takes us generally a month to get across the whole city, so the citizen gets actually 2 scheduled pickups a year. But during the time that we're picking up leaves, if we get done with a zone before time, then we'll backtrack into other zones to keep caught up. Once we've done all that, and once leaf season ends around December 31st, then in the month of January, we will take call-ins from citizens and also go through the neighborhoods and the zones and pick up leaves to kind of clean up after the fact.
Always remember to rake your leaves to the curb one day before leaf pickup is scheduled. Also remember that the leaf crews only pick up leaves. Please try to keep all items such as limbs, rocks, trash, and other debris out of leaf piles. They can seriously damage our leaf crew and the equipment.
The leaf machines that we use today, they aren't like chippers and vacuum cleaners. With all the debris that's thrown into the leaf piles and brush, it can go in and tear up our blades and tear up the machines. All the time the leaves are going up through the vacuum hose, they're going through a blade system where when it cuts them up and grinds them up and mulches them up to load the machine. So we can't pick up brush and limbs and paint cans and any debris that'll tear up our machine.
Manpower might become a problem throughout the leaf collection season if other job responsibilities arise, which could result in a safety hazard.
During the leaf season, the majority of operations employees are involved in the leaf pickup procedure. Safety-sensitive issues are the only projects that we are concerned about during this time. Some of the safety-sensitive issues would be maybe repairing a traffic device problem, putting up a stop sign, repairing potholes, anything to do with the major pedestrians, the citizens, or the drivers within the city of Bowling Green.
The leaves themselves can cause safety problems under the right conditions.
They get in the street sometime. But you know, if they way out in the middle of the street, sometimes we will rake them back over. And some, you know, if it's halfway in the middle of the road, it creates really a traffic hazard because they get wet, and when you go to stop, you slide on them.
Problems can also arise if leaves are not removed from city streets before they enter the storm drain system. This could result in problems with local drainage and potentially pollute our waterways.
Well, as you can see on this little spot of land we're on here, the yard is covered in leaves. In the back there we have a drainage well in this little sinkhole here. That well was installed to drain stormwater to keep it from flooding right next to this residence. Leaves that get into the drain well get down to the cave stream below us. One of the problems with leaves in natural waterways is as they degrade, they create nutrients. Nutrients lead to algae blooms. Algae blooms, as they decay, decrease the amount of oxygen in the water, and reduced dissolved oxygen in our natural waters is not good for the fish and the little critters that live in our cave streams and Barren River, where all the cave water drains to eventually under Bowling Green. Another problem with leaves that get into our drainage wells and our curb inlets and any sinkhole we have in town is they're organic matter and they take up space inside the cave or the well or the cave stream and eventually Barren River. And if we do have a large storm event here, that space that stormwater does not have a chance to occupy, so it could lead to an increased chance of flooding. So that's another reason we want to keep leaves and things out of our drainage structure. Another problem with the bunch of leaf litter like we have in this yard here, if these leaves get around this drainage structure here, around this drainage well we have, and we have a large storm event, and the same thing goes with the curb inlets along streets. When people pile their leaves on the street right in front of a curb inlet, stormwater could get blocked from getting in these drainage structures, which could increase the chance of local flooding for this house or the places along the street where people pile their leaves in the curb inlet and in the gutter there. So we want to try and avoid that as much as possible to reduce the chance of flooding locally.
Please remember to rake your leaves to the curb the day before your zone is scheduled for pickup. Also remember to keep leaves free of items such as limbs, rocks, and other debris. These items can severely damage our employees and our equipment. Also remember that leaves need to be kept out of the streets, out of gutter lines, and off of sidewalks. Keeping the leaves on the grass will help ensure safety as well. Keep leaves away from fire hydrants, mailboxes, and parked cars. These can cause safety hazards or be difficult for leaf crews to get to. And leaves will only be picked up on the street or alley that the residence faces. Citizens can get more information on leaf pickup and where their zone is in a variety of ways. They can go to the website at www.bgky.org and see a list of zones and a map of zones. They can also call the hotline at 393-3333 or view Channel 3 with our scrolling messages. Also, we will run an ad in the city page the month before the leaf pickup begins. If you don't want to rake your leaves to the curb, please remember that you can always rake and bag all of your leaves and Scott Waste will come and pick them up on your usual trash day.
The leaves are transported to Western's farm where they are ground into a mulch. Last year we picked up 225 loads of leaves and the average weight combined total was 1.9 million pounds of leaves. That's several leaves to pick up. The machines we use are better than we had a couple of years ago. They grind it into a finer mulch. They're actually not grinders, but the way they're designed, they compact the leaves better, which means we can pick more up per load.
The City of Bowling Green and Western Kentucky University have worked together on the leaf pickup program for over 20 years, benefiting both taxpayers and Western Kentucky University students.
When the city brings the leaves in with their dump truck, we've got a designated spot at the back of our compost facility for them to dump them out. We try to keep a designated area because if it gets wet weather or something, we can still dump them out and push them up into our pile. The leaves sit in the pile for 3 to 6 months, and after that time period, they're deteriorated enough to start the composting process. And we load the leaves into our dump truck and we transport them up to our working pad and put them in the windrows. After they sit in the windrows for a few days, we take our aerator and go through them. And the process takes about 3 months for completion.
From the time the leaves are delivered to Western Kentucky University's farm, the composting process can take up to 6 to 9 months before the mulch is made available for sale to the public.
After completion of the product, we sell the product to the public, to anybody that wants it, during the spring and the fall. The public comes out on Fridays and Saturdays. They bring their trucks and trailers, and we load it up with the front loaders. If the public wants the compost and they don't have a truck or a trailer, we have a dump truck that we deliver with, and the deliveries are set up on an appointment. You just call the phone number for the compost facility, and we set up an appointment to when we can bring it out to your house or your location. The money from the sales of the compost goes into our scholarship fund for Ag Department scholarships. 75% of it goes for scholarships, 25% of it goes back to the city.
Besides the loose leaf pickup program, another option for city residents to dispose of leaves is by bagging them. Bagged leaves in the city are picked up by contract with Scott Waste Management Company.
The citizens of Bowling Green are welcome to bring their bags out to the curb once they place them in a heavy-duty plastic bag so that our guys can pick them up on the same day we pick garbage up. And if they're in a heavy-duty bag, they won't rip and be blown all over the place. Most of the time when there's multiple bags at the curb and there's torn bags or whatever, we'll just leave them because at that time they'll become loose leaves and they would be more of a nuisance to the guys that are picking them up and to the homeowner when they're scattered all over the place. Yeah, once the bag leaves are picked up from the resident, they're thrown into the back of the garbage truck with the regular garbage and they're transported on to the landfill with the rest of the waste.
Scott Waste also picks up limbs and brush that are properly prepared and stacked.
Yeah, we'll pick up cut up brush if the homeowner has cut it. It can't be no longer than 5 foot long, 6 inches in diameter, and under our specifications, we will only pick up about 3 cubic yards, which is probably 6 foot long, laid out, and about 4 foot high. And only if the resident cuts it. If a paid contractor, it's their responsibility to haul it off. We urge the citizens to make sure that it is stacked properly because we will not pick up piles of brush that is thrown every which way, that is out of specifications, underneath power lines and up against utility poles. Those seem to be the biggest problems that we face in trying to take care of the resident.
Even though a brush pile may be properly stacked, sometimes it's placed in a location that can cause damage to the equipment or to nearby objects.
This is a good example of a 3 cubic yard brush pile right here. Stacked properly, all the ends is toward the street and everything. And I always said one thing, they put it underneath the trees here, and which could damage the trees if I try to get it with my truck, or I could tear up my hydraulic lines and be down out of service. So other than that, I mean, it's a good pile.
If you have any questions about the bag leaf or brush and limb pickup program, call Scott Waste at 783-4016. As Bowling Green trees face their annual shedding of foliage and city residents are confronted with 2 options of properly disposing of them, the city encourages each citizen to participate in the loose leaf pickup program to benefit the ecology and support agricultural student scholarships.